Hello, everybody. This is Paul Herman, the Prince of Motivation and host of Zaka Presents My Journey. We're creating this vulnerable and positive platform where you can get inspired and motivated from different leaders from our community. Today, our guest is professional actress Judi Johnson, who you could currently watch Judy on an all black series entitled Double Cross. Judy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me.
It's an honor. It's an honor to have you on. I know that the entertainment industry, I'm very well connected to that, and I love hearing from different entertainers. And I know our guests love to kind of express what goes on in their fields because there's a lot of things that goes on, all
Yes.
the various different hats you got to juggle, right?
Mhm,
But on
mhm.
top of the entertainment connection that we already have, I know that you're also Yachty as well,
That's
representing for Jamaica and stuff like that, which we're gonna dive in and talk a little bit more about growing up in Jamaica and all the great stuff. So before we get into where you are currently right now, just give us a little bit of an understanding of your background, where you grew up, and where you are currently right now.
certainly. Well, I'm born and raised in Clarendon, Jamaica. Hayes, Hayes. It's a lot going on in Hayes right now, but it's a beautiful place. I'm the youngest of five. Um,
Mhm.
Mother is Black, father is Indian. And from there, the journey to America came in the 90s. And daddy came over to New York, and mommy came over to DC, Washington, DC. That's where her dad was and her sister.
Mhm.
And my experience in Jamaica I was exposed to the arts through my eldest sister. She competed in the Jamaican pageantry.
Yes,
And
I heard about that. So I was ready for the bio.
yes, 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 yes. And when we immigrated to the States, we settled outside of DC. And as a result, I still had interest in the arts, just in the culture that I come out of. No, you're not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be a doctor. You're supposed to
Oh,
be a pharmacist. You're
that's
supposed to
right.
have a good job with two-car garage house. And
That's
as a
right.
young
Now, a big kitchen.
big kitchen, only about people to come over and cook. But being the youngest, I guess I had the liberty to feel more. And
Mhm,
I guess God
mhm.
gave me an extra doses of feelings, and I didn't know what to do with it.
Okay.
And in my journey of life, life kept life in. It
Mhm.
was, the toss and turns of the world. And I found solitude, peace, and therapy in the acting, in school, and learning about the craft.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
the journey took me to Atlanta, where I
Okay, yeah.
started working. I met a lot of amazing people. Atlanta was kind of booming in this sector where it was becoming the small version of Hollywood, as they would say.
Yes, true, true. It is. You got a
It's
lot of
it's
got
doing
it
its
right.
thing. It's not the small, it's his own entity. It's
That's right. That is
own
correct.
vibe.
Yes.
And right before I decided to drop out, to say, you know what, this isn't really working. It's not producing the amount of money that I need to sustain and to thrive and to do well. I
Mhm.
opted to give myself the shot of going to the Mecca of entertainment. So I came to LA, and that's where I am now.
Mm.
My background when I worked in DC, I worked for the government I worked in the private sector. I've done
Okay.
a lot of supportive roles. Um, and my journey out here, I found a way to get acclimated to LA without losing my mind.
Mm. True, true, true. In the entertainment business, a lot of guests have spoken about that and saying that you could definitely lose yourself in it because there's so much changing going on. It's happening so rapidly, and you want to fit in some
Yeah,
capacity. And
yeah.
being a first generation immigrant or a second generation immigrant already, there's already issues that we are working on, and then
Mhm.
coming into an industry that's constantly evolving, constantly changing, you're like, all right, where do I get my foot in?
Where
Right.
is my footing? Exactly.
And so Jamaica, Maryland, Atlanta, LA.
All over the place. I'm all over the place.
So, you know what I'm saying? You moving a whole lot. So talk
Um,
to me a little bit more about, the transition from Jamaica to Maryland, right? Because I know obviously Maryland is its own place, and I know Atlanta and LA are all different, but just the transition from Jamaica into Maryland, like how was that for you? Like what at the age, the schooling was obviously different, the community was obviously different. Um, but I know obviously you were probably in a melting pot in Maryland. Who knows? So like what was that look like?
So here's the thing. I'm going to be transparent because that's a great question. Here's why. I was naive and eager to leave Jamaica. I was a child. I was 10 years old, right? 9 years old. And I was being bullied by my cousins.
It's always the youngest one's always game because you the last one. They ain't got nobody else to bully.
In retrospect, I was not being bullied, but you know, my feelings,
Yes,
nobody gonna like me, this and that. And it was my night. I was naive. I was eager for the adventure of America. May I go foreign? May a big woman know, you know, that type of energy. So
true
when I
that,
came
sis.
to America, it's this land of milk and honey. It's this land of opportunity. It's this land of limitless potential.
Hmm.
It is also a vortex.
True.
America is a vortex.
Get
And
lost in
what
it real quick.
and I think the dream is the dream, but you got to kind of get to the dream. There is a building up. And in retrospect, I always tell people you're living in yesterday's thoughts. So when I came to America at 9 years old, 10 years old, wrapping up elementary school, jumping into middle school, going through high school, oh my God, I tried to hide. I tried to hide my accent. I
Hmm.
tried to hide my complexion. I tried to hide my hair texture. I tried to hide
Hmm.
everything because there was this need to assimilate. There was this need to be a part of something, a
True.
community. And I didn't
Especially when
realize
you're the minority, in a
when
sense,
you're the
coming in.
minority. But then everybody else was foreigners too. I'm like, oh wait,
Yeah.
all over that struggle. But I didn't have the blueprint to the game. I didn't know how to be a child, let alone how to be a child in America, let
Hmm.
alone how to be a foreign child in America.
Hmm.
So it was
Hmm.
hard. I didn't like having the dot on my forehead to say she's different. She not
Hmm.
come from here.
She
And
from Far.
come from somewhere else.
Hmm.
And I tried so hard to be like everyone else, not realizing my superpower was in how I was different.
And a lot of guests come on and express that. They say in their earlier phase of their transition, they were hiding a lot of those things, right? From the food that they ate to the language that they speak, right? They were like, I don't want nobody to know, right? And then now they started to get into their career, right? Whether it be in corporate America or they own their own businesses in various different booming industries, those things are of value
Yes, they
to
are.
them. They're like, oh, yeah, well, the last one of the last guests I had on, she was like, I didn't want people to know I speak Spanish, and then all of a sudden now she's in a corporate environment. Now she says I get to sit at the table because I am bilingual. I could speak Spanish, and on
Mhm.
top of that, I have leadership qualities to get me at the table too. So they're not just using me just because I'm bilingual. It's a mixture of a couple of things, and it's become more of a value, an asset. But again, as kids, we can't see that. It's hard to kind of go past that because again, coming from an environment where you're like, okay, what's next? What am I supposed to do? Let me just follow protocol. Now you could kind of
Got to be
create.
a part of the herd.
That's
You
right.
don't want to be the weakest one because the herd will attack the
That
weakest one.
that is correct. And growing up in environments where, you know, just the name or the word being labeled as an immigrant sometimes is very hard. Let
Mhm.
alone being African American, let alone being Jamaican or of Caribbean descent. But then having the label immigrant is another
Mhm.
thing. The
Mhm.
classroom environment. Oh, they're not from here.
Mhm.
Already is a separation. So, what type of values, when you came to America, what type of values did your parents instill in you to kind of help you through those transitions?
Oh my goodness. Education was a big part. Learning was a big part. Mommy would always try to reinforce just, you know where you come from, know the family value, the family structure, take care of each other, know who are the important pieces in your life and focus, focus, focus. It was always a hold on to the dream, hold on to the thing that you want because there are going to be days that will knock you off of it.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
mommy and daddy, oh my God, this might make me cry. Mommy and daddy were two relentlessly strong individuals where in what would have been poverty, it was prosperity for me. My
mm-hmm,
parents knew
mm-hmm.
how to make us feel good. They knew how to make a little bit stretch. They knew how to find ways to make it work. And I think of my mother, My mother was a school teacher in Jamaica. And she used to beat me in school if I didn't do something right, right?
Oh,
Here I am.
those were the days. Those were the days.
I'm running to mommy's room for peace. And mommy's like, wait, you don't do this? You don't do that? Come, put your hand out, get beaten. And her dream in America was to be a nurse. And my mother put herself through school. She worked night shifts. She did a lot. And even when, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm with it, mom. Blessings, 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 blessings.
Even when daddy passed away, she taught me 10 toes down. You don't stop. So in the pursuit, in how I translate that, in the pursuit in acting, Jesus, oh, I have tissue. Yay, I have tissue. In the pursuit of acting, I realize some of the values, or one of the values that I can hold on to, is things are going to change. Change is inevitable.
True.
And
true.
you cannot deny it, you cannot avoid it. But how do you pivot and still hold on to the dream? And that's something that I don't know, I latched onto. And this Hollywood experience, man, you kind of, you're pivoting every different angle, every
almost every
different
day.
day.
Every
And
day, every scene, every script. You know, it calls for a lot of, and first off, before we go into continue on, I just want to say thank you again for just opening up and expressing that, you know, about mom and dad, and what the values they instill, and it's obviously still in you, still utilizing every single day, right? And you're right, change is inevitable. And look at that, you're utilizing that in your career path every single day. You
realize
know,
that.
so shout out to mom and dad, big ups, mommy and daddy, auntie, you know?
Exactly.
And the fact that mom, you said mom was a teacher, but she was looking to be a nurse, and dad was an electrician, if I'm correct.
That's right.
You know, so going to them and saying, "Hey, look, mom, dad, I think I want to kind of get into the entertainment business." How did you convince them that this was going to be your career path?
You're gonna make me cry some more. Okay, you're digging deep, brother. You're going
You know,
there.
come on, I got you on here. I better dive in, right? Come on, I need to know.
So in high school, I modeled, right? And daddy was there. He didn't like it. He did not like it. He wanted us to steer clear from that because it came with a certain taste in your mouth. It came with a certain idea. You know, red lipstick mean this. If you do that, then that means you do this, then
Caribbean background.
red lips. I could not wear
Always
red
got
lipstick.
something to say. Red lipstick means something.
And I was a cheerleader. I was on the drill team. I was in the softball team. I was a well-rounded person, but this one thing daddy didn't like. And I had a teacher who was also a Caribbean. I should probably introduce you guys. She's amazing. Maggie Francois. Maggie opened the door to the idea of modeling outside of school. And my sister and I, we were like a duo. We used to look like twins. We still favor each other a lot. And we used to start doing these modeling gigs. And every now and then it would be paid, but it was not paid in Washington, D.C. at all. But I took a turn and I started working for DOJ. I think I was working for DOJ at the time. Was I working for DOJ? I think so. Or Verizon. I was working for one of either federal or corporate, right? And I got out of modeling because life was happening and I chose not to go that route, especially with your parents not in agreement. But then my father passed away. He passed away when I was 19. And I'm just like scratching my head. No, 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 daddy was supposed to be living the American dream. This is your dream. You brought us here. You want this life for us. You have a bigger vision, but 9 years into it, daddy passed away. And for me at this point, now I'm like,
is it still the dream?
Is it still a dream? Like, what is my dream? What is my footing? If, or would daddy want me to be this? I should go back to school and I should do this, but my heart is over here because I've been exposed to unlimitless potential, unlimitless imagination, right? And a paycheck. So in honor, I was like, I'm gonna pursue the dream because there's a reason why I'm here. And I didn't like the fact that my dad worked really hard to come here, and then coming here could have been his demise. So for a while, mommy didn't really like it because you're a struggling actor. You know, you talk to mom. They ask you a question, how is this going? What is going on
Did you
with
pay your
that?
bill?
You pay your bills, what you eating? No,
Yes,
Jody, you look too mager, you look too skinny. No,
yes, yes.
you look
Always,
stressed.
always watching you at Thanksgiving or a little family function. Like, did you eat today? Have you been eating? But
Always.
again, they're always in that protective mode. I mean, they've invested a lot of their time and energy to get us here, and it's
Mm,
like they want the best for us,
they do.
and
They
to
mean
see that you're
well.
still living through that, and you chose that career, but you chose it because it made you happy. It
Yes.
wasn't like you were just gonna follow along. So I would you say that's like one of the most memorable or like moments, life changing moments where you were like, you know what, Daddy passed away, but I know he would want this for me. He made the effort for us to come here,
Yeah.
so I can't let it go in vain. I have to actually pursue something and be successful at it.
It was twofold. Realizing daddy passed away, and here I am going to work every day, every day, every day. It's like, I'm like, oh, we're dying. We're all dying. I want to live. I want to die having lived. I want to
Mm,
regret something. I don't want to regret nothing. I want to do something. I want to challenge something. I want to be wrong. I want to feel the butterflies and feel the nervousness and be wrong and learn and grow. I'm like, Lord, I'm dying and I want to live. So the pursuit wasn't daddy would be happy in me doing this. I'm like, daddy wants me to be happy. Jody, what makes you happy? Sorry, my pet name is, or pet, my nickname is Jody.
I was like, hold on now. Ooh, there's your sister.
Family call me Jody. But no, that was the moment when daddy passed away. Yeah, it was like, yo, we're all going to meet our maker. So live. And then there was another moment where mommy was always worried, like, Jody, you sure you're doing this? She would always try to convince me to go get that job. You need to stop this hobby. And I remember saying to mommy when I was living in Atlanta, I said, Mommy, if the whole world is telling me no, can you just tell me yes? Because if
Makes a
you say
difference.
yes, I don't care what they say.
Yes, 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 yes.
If your yes gets me this far, then that is satisfaction to me. But
Hmm.
if their no gets me this limited, it's not enough for me. So those are two pivotal moments in my journey in this acting pursuit where I'm like, no, you do need the validation of the ones that matters the most to you, the ones that sacrifice the most for you. And
Mm.
having received it, it's again, it's like you're taking up all these superpowers, all these tools in your toolbox. So when someone tells me no, that don't faze me.
Move
Even
on,
when someone tells me yes, it don't faze me.
move and go away.
Ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows.
That's what's up. So I know when you talked about the DMV in Maryland, I was thinking of the DMV Maryland and all that little melting pot right there. When you talk about Maryland, you mentioned that you were working with in corporate for a while, right? So help me out and help our listeners out. How is this transition? Like, because obviously you're working, let's say 9 to 5 every single day. And then all of a sudden you get this wake up call and you're like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm not doing this anymore. And how did you get that breakthrough in the industry?
Okay. More transparency, more transparency. I got married young. So that coupled with my father's desire for me to do that, I was trying to do the things
True,
should
true. The
have
checklist.
the checklist for daddy and mommy. And even in those things, it wasn't working. This corporate job and there was at Verizon, and then to go through a divorce, and then to have children. It was definitely a lot on the plate. But this feeling of if I get to the end of myself and I haven't lived, then that's a problem. So I opted to, when I went to Atlanta, I went down there and I started working with a temp agency. Still corporate, but no commitment.
Mm-hmm.
No value, skill set, income, but no roots, so to speak. I
That was in Atlanta.
This was in Atlanta because I left the
So
DC area to go to Atlanta.
gosh, and that's where you were in like full time corporate. Then you kind of transition a little bit by taking less time, less hours, less commitment in Atlanta,
Exactly.
but
And
still
to be
moving
very clear,
closer.
to be very clear, the timeline is this: working at Robert Half International, that was one of the placement agencies. So I did staffing for the DC area. I took that idea and I said, you know what? I want to go to Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta and I worked in a different company, a different branch in the Atlanta market.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first job as an actor, as a lead actress. I got fired from my corporate position from that job. And
Because of the acting?
because of the acting, I needed
Oh
2 weeks off.
no.
I needed 2 weeks off.
Oh no. Wow. Okay.
Off.
Thank you for letting us know the real deal.
Real deal. I needed 2 weeks off. I explained to them. I didn't want to really tell them what was up, but I did. And it came to my demise because the person that was in my authority, she wasn't very supportive. And I understand because she has divisions to run. I get it. But I opted to take a L and a W. I left and I went to set. I worked. Was not a lot of money, so I immediately had to go back to work in Atlanta. Here I am. Instead of going back to this job because they were not having me back, I chose a different placement agency and I started working with them.
Okay.
And I took a different position because I didn't want to be in a higher, I don't need all this stress. I just need to be the receptionist. I need to get a little bit of money because my overhead now is so low. My car note, all the things, what I do is so low that I don't need a lot of money. I just need to be here.
Okay.
So
Get you.
from
I see the sacrifice right there.
the sacrifices, and then going from my own place to I'm now I'm in a roommate position. You know, driving up and down between the DMV to Atlanta for family purposes, being Atlanta, being available for Tyler Perry, being available for whatever positions was opening. I needed to be able to pivot. I had to be on a swivel, and I had to take the sacrifices of not having a lot of money. So,
So you were commuting back and forth at one point.
well, just for family reasons.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
I was living in Atlanta with a roommate, with the temp job, just finding ways to stay plugged in, connected while, oh, there's a job here, there's an audition here. Let me run to it. Let me be available here.
And this is like, I know a lot of people within the entertainment business, we say this, the same common line, check to check. Did you feel like this was the situation?
Not really. And I'm trying to think how to gauge it between another person in my position at that time. I realized in Atlanta, everybody was working. LA, don't nobody work. Like, how are you?
Jeez, damn, she done dropped it down right now.
How are y'all living what you live? How are y'all doing what you, is it trust fund? Everybody have trust fund? Like everybody have sugar daddy? Like what is the secret sauce that I am not participating in? But in Atlanta, everyone had a job and people were too scared. They had dreams, they had desires, they had goals. They wanted to be in an entertainment space, but they didn't want to let go of the familiar. They didn't want to, I liken it onto monkeys swinging on a vine. In order to get from here to there, you have, at some point, you have to let go of the protection of that vine to catch the other one. And it's in that in-between space of letting go and free flowing, flying to the next vine that people fear the most. And I tell you this, my encouragement to people is this, that moment of fear is also that moment of freedom.
True.
You just don't know how God will bless. You don't know how God will intervene. You don't know if you're going to fall, but even in falling with faith, you don't know what's going to be there when you fall, if you fall, how you fall, why, all these things. So for me, I didn't live check to check. I've always had money. I've always had, my Amuna sing, my father Amuna sing, my mother Amuna sing. One thing we know if to do our work.
Yes, work
I don't care
hard.
if I have a sweet floor, clean
Clean
toilet.
toilet. You know it comes in that order. We all know it comes in that order. It comes in that order.
It doesn't, my pride is I get to feed my family. I get to feed myself. I get to house myself. And I've always taken joy in knowing I can do for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was never paycheck to paycheck. I always had a surplus because I just didn't have a lot of bills.
True. So when it comes down to the industry, right? You being Jamaican descent, immigrant background, right? How do you feel you fit in like this whole thing? I mean, do you feel like you see a lot of individuals that that look like you, come from the same areas as you? Like, how do you feel when you're transitioning into this community, this industry, more importantly, and you realize you're an immigrant actress?
I think you said the word transition. And when you said it, I also heard the word transform, right? Because here's the thing. I think we're taught what separates me, what makes me different, right? And coming here, it was, oh, you're a Black woman. Oh, but you're not really Black. You're kind of exotic, but you're not really exotic, but you're kind of Black, but your hair complexion. So you're not really African American. So where do we put you? And then you go into a room and they're like, we want you to say these words and say these lines. And then certain words I had to practice, like mattress. Still can't say mattress.
We got to slow it down. We got mattress. Got to emphasize.
Daddy, like daddy's a thing. And I don't like not saying daddy, but it's not, daddy is daddy,
That's it. That's a part of the language, a part of the culture.
So I had to slow it down, and they were like, oh, no, you can't say it. You cannot say it slow down. So it's like, daddy. So it was this constant thing of, oh, let me hide this portion of me. Oh, let me hide that I'm a mother. Oh, let me hide that I've been divorced. Oh, let me hide these hurts and pains. This craft requires all of you, the most beautiful side of you and the ugliest side. I had to learn, and I am still learning. Whatever it is I'm trying to hide, I need to shove it in your face. Because I would oftentimes go into a casting room and they'll be like, ooh, what's that? What's that accent that I hear? I'm like, oh, I'm Jamaican. I'm born and raised in Jamaica. And here I am. They're like, oh, yeah, we could tell because we could hear it in the, this
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
like,
That little facial expression too.
so I'm like, ooh, let me back up. Oh, you don't like it, when what I should have been doing is like, yeah, I'm Jamaican.
Do you want to hear more of that?
Is that something that you guys like? Well, allow me to show you what a Jamaican can bring to it, as opposed to what is written on this breakdown. You're looking for a Black American, or you're looking for whatever. Let me show you what, because the thing is, everyone comes in this field, or not everyone. Most people come in this field thinking I can do what they want. That's not what they want. What they want is, who are you and what do you offer? But oftentimes I fell victim to going into the room. Oh, they want this. Oh, they want that. Let me wear this. Let me look like this. Let me be this. It was a huge thing of trying to be like them. Until I had to realize the only limits Judy have are the ones she gives herself. So they're not going to like you because you're Jamaican. Well, that's your limit. They're not going to like you because you're a woman from this background. That's your limit. Or Judy, transform that.
Use that.
Use it. Use it. Let them deny the most authentic you, because it's not for you. But when the yes come, and it comes because you were the most authentic, you are the most present, you are the most capable, it is no denying it. And it feels amazing to be able to perform from there, as opposed to perform from, is this what they want? Did I do it right? So however we start this relationship, I hope we have to keep it.
So when you show up for yourself, right? That's as a lot of the guests have said. You got to show up. You got to show up. That's the first battle for all of us. Is when we're dealing with that type of stigma in our head, like, oh, we're not good enough, or wait, hold up, did they not like my accent? First of all, you just got to show up, and show up as the best version of yourself. So you did that. Obviously, you got a lot of no's, but you got the big yes, right? Talk to us a little bit more. I know acting obviously comes with a lot of no's and it comes with a lot of yes. So tell us a little bit more about that first job that you booked, that you were getting like an actual check from doing it. So you can go like, daddy, mommy, look, it actually works. The system works.
Well, you know what? The first job was in Atlanta. I'll say this. One of the first, it's not the first job. Can I talk about a job that I had my mother come to the screening of?
Okay.
Actually, she did come to that. Look at that.
Okay.
So the first job, she did come to a screening.
Okay.
And it was in Baltimore. What is it? It's not What Love Will Make You Do. Oh, is it What Love Will Make You Do? Oh God. Oh God. Thank you, Lord, for the blessing of not being able to remember the title of my
Look
first.
at that. That's how you know you got a lot of blessings. And
But
keep them coming.
yeah, and I told mommy because one, not only did they fly me to Baltimore to do the screening because one of the lead, he was from Baltimore. The writer, producer, director, she was from Baltimore. So that's why they opted to do a screening there. And I remember going back home to DC, to Maryland, and I remember telling mommy, no, mommy, they flew me in. No, no, mommy, I don't need to stay at the house. I have a hotel. Like, no,
You
mommy,
want to come see it?
yeah, like it was a lot of these. Hmm, okay, So
And
for her, it was almost it was just a sense of, okay, what she said she was setting out to do, she was doing it. She wasn't convinced, but she was proud. And to have her walk the red carpet, to have her hold my hands, to have her sit beside me, it was all wins, 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 wins. But no matter what, the type of win I was having versus the type of win mommy was having was different. Mommy was happy that her daughter was happy. She might have not been happy with my career path, but she was just happy that her daughter was happy. And me, here I am like, yo, I'm turning nothing into something. No blueprint. Don't know what
yeah, no,
anybody
yeah,
would do.
that's right. I mean, you really got to think about that. No blueprint.
No
No one in
blueprint.
Jamaica was like, hey, look, guys, if you're gonna go to America, you're gonna go to the States, this is what you want to follow. These are my connections. Contact them once you get to Maryland. When you go to Atlanta, hit this person up. As we would probably move as adults, but as a child coming up, like you're just following the system, and like I said, following behind mom and dad, and hopefully they get you close enough,
Yeah.
and you could actually jump off the boat, jump off the bus, and hop on the next one leaving out that terminal. And
Yeah.
you did that, and you had to do it alone. And I know there's a huge fear that you're not going to be successful. There's a huge fear of us failing and letting them down after all the work they put in. So a little bit of that fear leads you every single day, right? In a positive way. You're like, it's not I'm afraid that I'm gonna fail. It's more like you said just a while ago, I love providing for my family. It's something that if your culture, our culture, it was we were brought up on that. Like let's contribute to each other's success. So it's an honor to know that mom was able to attend, get a little dolled up as well too.
Yeah.
And
Can I
really
say this? Can I say this? In the journey, one thing that I realized, I I fear what I know. I don't fear what I don't know.
hmm
So if I know this familiar, I don't like it. I fear that. I don't want that. I go away from that. It's the unknown that's exciting.
true.
It's the what ifs that are exciting. It's how can I make something out of nothing that is exciting? And I would encourage people that I encourage people in that space where if you are fearful of something, well, this thing, is it working or is it not? Like, figure it out. Do the thing that you don't know. You don't know if it's going to work, but at least you're trying to make something something.
And that's a lot of that is passion, a lot of that is grit, confidence. There's a lot of key words in there, but I know you're very big on motivating individuals to live out their dreams every single day. You're doing it, and obviously you promote that in your lifestyle, right? But you mentioned about being a mom as well too, right? Working in this industry. How do you balance these responsibilities and also be an amazing role model with a very, very demanding career?
Well, it looks demanding, but when you're on set, it's hard. When you're on set, your presence, you have to be present where you are. So I can't think about what's going on at home and what's needed here. There's always and maybe that's why I'm like this right now. I'm realizing it's happening more and more where what I can control, I'm gonna control it.
True.
Whatever schedule I need to create, I'm a stickler for time. If you tell me to be somewhere at a certain time, it bothers me if I'm not there at that time. So the best way I can say is, and my kids can attest to it, and they'll be like, nah, she did a horrible job. Or she did a good
Wait, now
job
you
when she
said
did it.
kids. Help us
Yes,
out.
yes. In my previous marriage, I have two daughters. They grown
Okay.
now.
Okay.
And now in my marriage with Pierre, I have a son, Mateo. We have a son. This boy is great. And although my daughters are grown, I'm experiencing motherhood in a different way, present way, because where I was feeling as if I was in survival mode, extreme survival mode. I was militant with my daughters. I was militant.
You were like, hold on, let me break down exactly what my mom and dad did.
All right, I was strict. And then with Mateo, no. And I see that because as the younger cluster of my family, the younger group of the kids that came out of my parents were very slack, as my older brothers and sisters would say. So I'm slack with Mateo. And with the girls, I was strict. But I think the best way to answer that question is just really having structures where you have. I did not have a lot of support. When I moved to Atlanta, I was the one going back and forth to DC, making sure the girls, because I was there, they were in DC. So
I see.
I was the one going up and down. And
I
then
see.
when I moved out here, the goal was with my ex and I to have the girls come out here at a certain point, but then life was lifing. And things didn't go the way I had thought, intended, planned. And the girls wanted to stay for a variety of different reasons, one being friends. You know, you can't pull that at a certain age. That's all that matters,
Yeah,
friends.
that's all that matters. And maybe some sneakers.
Maybe some sneakers too, maybe some stuff, some freedom. And
Yeah.
their dad afforded them more freedom than I would afford them. So having the structure, having the team, the village really helps you in navigating the the things you expect and the things you don't expect. And then I think grace, man, grace, people got to give themselves grace. Where you fall short, give yourself grace, get up and keep going, do better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and doing better, it is very hard at times to do better when there's so many different um distractions. And I think one of the biggest distractions that anyone in the entertainment business face is social media.
Mm.
Social media will could be your best friend or it could be an enemy of yours. Now, juggling your personal life, how in today's age, like working on digital media, like how could that play a huge role in someone's career? Like
It's a,
utilizing social media, how do you manage your social media presence through all of this?
it is really a tool. I think in the beginning, before I realized it was a tool, I was a consumer on it. I was there to look at people and see what's going on. And another part was I was just trying to share with the majority of my family at one time. Here's pictures, here's progress, here are updates. But then I quickly learned, oh, so you mean when I worked over at Disney one time, I was in their casting department, right?
You was working.
Temping, temping. I'm telling you, man, I'm
Yeah,
gonna check. We're gonna eat. It's gonna be
you
good
was
too.
working. You was working.
And one of the tasks they had me do was go through people's social media and calculate, whether it was Twitter at the time, Instagram, Facebook. I don't think TikTok was like a thing at the time, but whatever it was, they wanted to, in a way, grade people on their social status. And it caught me by surprise because I didn't think anyone was looking at me that way until I realized, listen, this is a tool. If you're not showing people what you're doing, whether it be a reel, a monologue, if you're starting out in the game, post monologues,
Yeah.
post content that reflect what you want to do. If you see a scene, recreate the scene. If you're
That's correct.
funny, like a lot of people came out of the social footing because they were able to they were able to collect eyeballs. And that's what mass networks, mass media productions companies, that's what they want. They want your eyeballs, they want your thoughts, they want your spare time. They want to give you, but they need you to be theirs. So social media is a collection of who belongs to me. And it's a tool. And it's an empowering tool that you don't want to fall victim to. Now you're a slave to it because it's your primary. It cannot
Yeah.
be your primary.
You could lose yourself in that kind of thing.
Lose yourself. So
And
balancing, man. There are times where I'm like, I try to like tag team. I'll post a picture and then walk away. And I'm bad because I don't engage. I'm sorry,
That's a
y'all.
part of that's a part of the process.
Apparently, there's something called engagement. How is your engagement? I'll tell you, it sucks. I don't get a chance to talk to people. And furthermore, I talk to people who are talking to me.
That's correct. That's correct.
It's hard to respond to a heart emoji. It's hard to respond to a fire emoji. It's hard to respond to, yes, sis. Not to say that, I can like, but the engagement is, wow, Judy, this was really profound. What made you think to share this, or what inspired you? Like a question that I can actually engage in. Anytime I get to see that, I'm like, ooh, I get to think.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I get you. I get you. It is a difference. It's more of a connection. It's more of a conversation. And you're an actress, right? You're already in the mode of like, let's talk, let's get it going. Right. So it's like, yeah, I get you. Because then you could go through a whole conversation, heart, check, thumbs up.
I'm like, well, I don't want to hurt you and then say something to you and then hurt. I don't want to make you feel like, oh, she like her more than she like me. No, it's just at this moment, I posted something and it had it had over 300 comments. And I was collabing with my sister, and we were literally just out having dinner. And I said, day one, my day one, I posted no thought, no nothing, no strategy, no absolutely nothing, just my day one, sisters, Jamaicans, West Indian. And it got a lot of likes. And she's like, you better go in there and engage with people. I said, what? Nobody's
I'm
saying
going to bed. What you talking about?
300.
I'm going to bed. So with that being said, like obviously we're talking about engagement, we're talking about social media, we're talking about the industry, like real deal. Like, how did you not lose yourself in the mix of all of this?
I think there's seasons of you do lose yourself. I think, yeah, I'm sure I lost myself. I'm sure I was always looking at the next person. Oh, we went out for the same role and you booked it. Or, oh, you're on vacation. Like, I'm trying to take a vacation. Or there's those moments. Social media, what did they say? The thief of happiness is comparison. I'm saying it wrong, but that's the gist of it.
I get you, I get you. I'm with you.
But I think for me, one of the things that kept me when I was working in DC government, like all these corporate jobs, these weird jobs, this sounds weird, but I've always been the person to look down at my feet and say, that's where I am. That's where I am. I'm
That's
not
deep.
over there. I'm not in Mykonos.
That's
I'm
deep.
not on set. I'm not, I'm not, where I am is right here. And another thing that acting has taught me is whatever is going on in your life, that don't matter. Oh my God, I just did a movie in Jamaica, which that's a thing. That was a thing. But
Congratulations. First time?
first time in Jamaica.
Big,
And I
big,
was
big.
number one on the call sheet. I was like, woo, mommy, look
Let's
at me
go.
now. But
Amazing.
in that, that's the other thing, man. This industry, we're not that we're chasing a high, but successful people know that this is a roller coaster. There will be ups and there will be downs. And in life, you better enjoy every sweetness that the up brings. I'm on top of the world. I can see the world. I have hope. I feel inspirational. I feel great. And then down, like, listen, you will catch me posting a cup of noodles because that's the season. But I put jerk sauce, hot sauce. My cup of noodles is
That's it.
delicious. I crave my cup of noodles. I crave the
We doing this tonight, everybody.
on it. But
That's
you
it.
won't catch these scallops and these lamb chops. You might catch the oodles and noodles too, because I recognize that's where I am today. And for
That's
me,
important. That is important. You did that when you were growing up in Jamaica. See, like obviously the lifestyle that we're living in the country, or living out in Jamaica, and you come to the States, you're like, okay, you appreciate, okay, this is what it was, right? And then when we go back home, we see it. We're like, you know what? Wow, I came from here. This is wait, this is how we were living. But again, that's where you were at that time, and where you were at that time, it was since you didn't have anything to reference, it was like this is it, right? And in your career currently right now, it's the same exact way. There's references because your friends, your peers, your colleagues, you can probably, oh yeah, okay, maybe in the next couple of months I'll be able to do that or whatever. But right now is where I'm at. And like you said, enjoy the sweetness of those ups. And
And when they're down to go through it,
100% go through it,
don't rush
learn from
back.
it, feel it, feel through it as well. So that when that roller coaster comes back up again, you're not going up there with so much pain and hurt, because you don't want to carry that pain and hurt all the way up. You want to leave it at the bottom and then boom, go up,
Yeah.
fresh slate. So congratulations on that, because I know like playing different roles, and the demand of what people ask you to do sometimes, right? It could be like, well, that's not where I'm at today. Mm-mm. That's not the role I want to take. But some people are like, you know what, I just need to make a check. I need to move. I need to make something happen. So congratulations. I know you have a lot of obviously morals and all those kind of things. You got two beautiful daughters and a son as well. So you're just like thinking about all these things as you make those decisions in your career path. You
Yeah.
know,
My daughter saw my scene one time. There was like, oh, and it was like a learning curve for me, because I was like, wait. That did that for y'all? Because on set, you know what's going on. You know, by the time they edit and put the soundtrack over it, by the time all that happens, you think, oh, this was really going down.
yeah.
Oh,
But you
it
know,
was
it's a lot of
20
cuts
people
cut.
in the room. It was awkward. It's like, okay, well, okay. So I guess I'm doing a good job, because you're seeing something that I need you to see, or I need to portray for this character. But on set, no, no, no. The sacrifice.
It's crazy. Shout out to you. You know, and I think that you just opening up and kind of just touching base on it. Like I think a lot of the listeners listening will kind of catch on. Like you got to know what you're willing to do,
Yeah.
and you have to feel comfortable. You have to be, thick in your own skin, and you have to know how to navigate when you're in those positions. That you walk out there not feeling like you've been like used and abused, but more like I learned from this experience. Okay, I might be take on more roles like this, or I might not. And that moment in time when you were with your daughters and that happened, you were like, hmm. And so first off, it made you feel that way. Well, the scene worked then,
Mhm.
right? You must have did a really good job.
However, my
Yeah.
mama watching this now, like, oh, I forgot everybody. And that doesn't mean, that also means everybody I know.
True. 100%. 100%. When you think about your Jamaican heritage, right? How do you use that as leverage in your industry right now? Like how do you the culture, the vibrant energy of the yard and thing, how do you use that to continuously get booked and blessed?
I think the best way I can answer that is I don't apply it to the work. I just apply it to the authentic Judy. Because like on social media, I love Jamaica. I mean, I'm always ranting, raving. I'm always watching news feeds that's going on back home. I'm plugged in. I want to do more. I always try to find a Jamaican project that I can be a part of. But how I use it for leverage is my culture is my culture. Everybody want to know us, be us, eat our food, dance our dance, love our men, love our women. Like everybody, Jamaica, I don't care which part of the world you crack open, you're gonna find a Jamaican selling beef patty at that.
Yeah, you don't know. I have two of them ready for go.
So it's like I use it to show, hey guys, this is the Judy that you get on set, not the performer, not the artist. This is because they're two folds. Sometimes you don't get the job because don't nobody like you. You're talented.
Womp, womp,
You're
womp.
amazing. You deliver, but you're an a-hole. You're a diva. You're not pleasant. You're not nice. No one wants to do your makeup. No one wants to attend to you. Whereas there are other people that they're a joy to be around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the
That
character
keeps you booked. That keeps you booked.
that you're so for me, the Jamaican, the back home, the food, the culture, the vibes. Judy is a vibe. It's a I don't know if it gets me the job, because the job may require somebody that is not Jamaican at all. Nothing about Jamaica is going to help this project. You know, so I wouldn't say that, but where it applies, it applies. How I can utilize, because everyone has parents, everyone has experience with parents or the lack thereof. So it's just a woman a girl who have had experience who just so happens to be Jamaican,
True.
that the only thing that my Jamaicanness contribute to this experience is just behind the scenes on set.
I see.
You know, the niceness, the sweetness. But the actual booking the job, maybe it just boosters and leverage me saying, oh, we love her. She's just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
She's easy
Cool.
breathing.
Cool.
She's fun.
Cool. And that is something that people need on a set. When you with somebody for, a month, 2 months in, you want to make sure this person is not just fun on the camera, but like in general, right?
Right.
And it brings me to my next question, where I want to know, like, obviously being in this industry for so long, right? I want to know, like, who do you look up to, actresses or actors that you look up to that like inspire you? Is it like, if you have like a top three, top one?
I think it's the cliche. I think I had a huge respect and admiration for Zoe Saldana. And she is a woman that I kind of saw myself. I was like, ooh, her cheekbones. You can see it. So anyway, I was like, Zoe Saldana is someone that when you think of success from the outside, I do not know what her family life look like. I don't know what money problems, if she has. I don't know if I don't know what it is. But to be a woman who has the same body frame as me, who has the same fire as me, and has commanded the presence when she's on set. The whole scheduling is based on her schedule. And I love that because, she's in, I think, the top 4 sci-fi projects out there. Even Avatar, they have to wait until she's available to film Avatar.
That's
So
real.
something like that to me is of the utmost. Just yesterday, I was on set with Cheryl Lee Ralph.
You about that life. You in proximity. Proximity is key.
And it was weird because my son booked a job. My son, I was there as a set mom. I was like, Lord, this is life.
Okay.
Booked a job and
So
it
the
was,
whole family's into acting now?
yeah, whatever. I tell people yes and no. I tell my family, my nieces, my nephews, everyone, somebody has to stand on my shoulders. I stood on advice, friends. I stood on Paulo Coelho, the book Alchemist. I stood on Earl Nightingale. I stood on Les Brown. I stood on things and words that I could hear that could bolster me up to stand. And now wherever I am, I'm like, please, somebody stand on my shoulders. Please. So if it's my kids, if it's nieces and nephews, if it's somebody that needs something, somebody got to get the blessing. Somebody has to get the mantle or wisdom from the next person. So attach yourself to someone and learn, or whatever doors I can open. I'm like, somebody got to walk through these doors. If I can't walk through it, somebody got to walk through it. So Mateo walked through a door because he booked a job. And I'm looking at him like, this boy don't have a clue what's going on. This is like, actors out here are struggling for a paycheck, struggling for something to post that they're doing because work begets work. And on set, I'm just looking at Miss Cheryl because she don't know when her kids were screaming, "Go, mommy, go!" I was screaming it too, and I almost wanted to scream it on set. It took everything in me to be like, let that woman work. I did not approach her. I just said, "Hello, Miss Cheryl. Great performance," and just kept it going because they were in the middle of finishing the
Transit. Yeah.
but
They move fast.
they do move fast. So
But you
something
got,
like,
but congratulations.
yeah, something like that. However long it took her to win the accolades. It wasn't that she won that trophy that night for me. It was seeing her kids scream, "Go, mommy, go." For me, I was like, man, that lady is more successful than everybody else in that room.
Wow, Judy. Well, I mean, you've been dropping a lot of gems and really just giving us a lot of great insight on your career, your industry, your upbringing, the heritage, the culture, the vibrant energy that you bring behind the scenes. But I need to leave it off with this one last question, right? I think from our conversation, I really need to ask this question, like, what message, are you trying to give to up and coming actresses and actors, Jamaican descent, Caribbean descent, aspiring to be in your shoes or probably even follow in your footsteps?
Okay, the Judy I am today will say, be so rooted in who you are and why you are you that no one can shake you. You have something to contribute. When a no comes, it's not a no to you, is that doesn't fit this puzzle, but you will fit the puzzle that you're supposed to fit. I do believe you got to be happy. You got to be happy in what you're doing. Like, you're only going to live one time.
True.
You're only going to be this consciousness one time.
Mm-hmm.
So be happy, even in the mistakes. And I'm a woman of faith. I love Jesus. I hold on to it. If I'm not at home, if I'm not on set, I'm at church. Matter of fact, I'm going to church later tonight. I gotta serve.
That Caribbean background, you already know. That was a part of the agenda every week.
I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, walking in my patent leather shoes to church 1 mile away. I'm like, Mommy, it's hot. Your toes are sweat. You have on
Yes,
stockings. It's 100 degrees outside.
the humidity
You
will already
won't
wash
go
up
to
your
church
hair.
looking good. But no, I definitely tell people, those that are looking to pursue this career or any career, make it be a passion, but passion burns out. Sharpen your skill set, because once you enter that door, you need to be able to stay in there. Beauty fades, beauty fades, but the inner who you are is what you got to work on. That's something I'm working on. I want my gorgeousness inside to shock people. They're like, oh my God, you're even more on the inside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Didn't know that, did
I
you?
give you that because that doesn't die down.
It doesn't
Unless you decide to say like that's not me anymore. But you're right. Beauty will fade,
yeah.
but the internal beauty that you possess, the vibrant energy that you possess, could always go with you. I always mention that when in my connections with other individuals, I always say your attitude travels everywhere you go.
Hmm.
So if your attitude is always positive and upbringing, then carry that with you everywhere you go. But if you're miserable and aggravated and all this kind of stuff,
I'm
you can carry it
contrast.
with you. It already throws you off, man. Judy, you honestly, it's always an honor to interview another guest. But it's been a true blessing to hear your journey, connect with you, and I felt like we definitely got a lot closer in this conversation. I just want to wish you all the best with your career. You've done a lot of great things. I know mom and dad are always watching and paying attention. Daddy's up there like, look, that's my daughter. You know, it's much love and respect for you because you're taking your culture, you're taking your whole family, you're putting them on the shoulders, and you're saying, look, it's okay if you could rest on me today because you did it for me at one point, and now I'm doing it for my community. So, congratulations, all the best. Looking forward to seeing you on TV and also on that big screen. And I want to let the listeners know if you want to hear more stories like Judy, check us out on ZakaConnect.com or follow our feed, Zaka, wherever you listen to your podcasts.